You are beautiful on the inside. You are innocence personified. And I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone. And I will drag you down and sell you out. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons I fight. What have I become now that I betrayed everyone I've ever loved and pushed them all away? Sorry, y'all, I can't sing, but I just want to feel like a fan at AEW, man. They get that awesome experience. Jericho's got this awesome theme song, man. He's supposed to be a fucking villain. Anyway, that's how I want to start my podcast off for this edition of AEW that happened last week. So I ain't gonna talk about the whole show. I don't really care about it. I have a couple of key moments. So since we start off with Jericho, we're gonna go ahead. So we had Y2J and MJF versus the Varsity Blondes. Now, Jericho and MJF, they're the number 5 tag team. Varsity Blondes are Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. I don't know too much about the Varsity Blondes, but it turned out to be a very good match. I was surprised. I was shocked. The reason I started the show off that way was because, so apparently on social media, they've been bashing a 50-year-old man for the way his body looks. I mean, I understand the dude ain't got the best looking body. I'm not here to judge him, just speaking facts. But he's still in shape. And then one of my friends from middle school was telling me that him and Kofi Kingston, they have that same thing, like with their chest, and that what causes it to be flat. So I'm just wondering, are they going to talk about Kofi like that when he turns 50? Nevertheless, it was a good match. Y2J and MJF won the match. So then I wanted to talk about Dax Hardwood versus Jungle Boy. Now this is the number one. This is half of the number 1 tag team versus half of the number 2 tag team. So apparently, the stipulation was for Cash Wheeler, which is Dax Hardwood's partner, and Tony Blanchard to be handcuffed to Luchasaurus because every week, every time Tony Blanchard is out at the ring, he's got to interfere in the match. It doesn't matter what happens, he's got to interfere in the match. So nevertheless, they made this stipulation. And I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm not a fan of Jungle Boy. I ain't a fan of Marco Stunt. But this was a classic match, man. Like, I earned some respect for Jungle Boy. I don't like Jungle Boy. I don't know why. I damn sure don't like Marco Stunt. I can't stand that little fucker. Nevertheless, I earned a lot of credit. I earned a lot of respect, for Jungle Boy. He was resilient. Like, Dax Hardwood threw everything at him possible that I'm sure that he could think of, and the dude still won. And then there was actually mentioning during the match that because for all who don't know, he ain't the biggest guy, Jungle Boy. He's very small. He's smaller than me, and I ain't that big. But nevertheless, they was talking about how he has a submission now. I believe it says kind of like the STFU, and it kind of is like John Cena's finisher. But nevertheless, he's been doing that, and that's apparently been helping him win matches. Nevertheless, that's how he won this match. I was very impressed by the match. It was good. I was even more impressed by the end. The end of the match was fucking awesome. Of course, that Blanchard and Wheeler were going to attack Luchasaurus. They did, and then they took out Jungle Boy. That made me happy. But that was an upset alert. I have no more to say about that. So then, they showed Sting and Darby Allin having a promo talking about how they're hoodlums and stuff, and Sting, he swung the baseball bat 2-3 times and was out of breath, and now he's talking about having a match. It's gonna be a cinematic street fight match at the pay-per-view. Not sure how that's gonna work out. Not really interested either. Young Bucks and Good Brothers versus Dark Orders. Evil, Uno, John Silver, Stu Grayson, and Alex Reynolds. That was actually a good match. Of course, the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers were going to win. They're more dominant. So when I was watching the match, I seen Gallows, man. It got me to thinking. People probably forgot this because it was so long ago, but in the late 2000s, like 2008, 2010, or maybe 2007, 2010. I don't know the exact year, but do y'all know that Luke Gallows used to be Festus? Go look it up. It's fucking funny, man. I think he had like curly hair, brown hair. He had a bald spot in the middle. This dumb gimmick, he would look like this. He'd be like, and that was his character. He was like, It was just fucking stupid. I was just thought about that when I was watching the match. It had me fucking weak. So let's see. They won that match. And then when they did the Too Sweet thing, I got to thinking. I mean, I know this was a different style. The different clashes is like talking about the NBA and basketball. I mean, the NBA and football from the 80s and 90s versus today's how things has changed. Well, got me thinking. Would y'all be interested in seeing NWO in their prime versus the Bullet Club in their prime? I wonder who would win. I mean, ours is a clash of styles. A clash of styles, excuse me. I'm talking too fast. Obviously, it's a clash of styles, but if I had to pick, I would probably pick, just based off the styles, the Bullet Club. But I didn't even tell y'all, I'm a little geeked up right now. I bought me a tripod, so I got my remote here, so now I can do things a lot different. It just makes me really happy. So that was a very competitive match. I like this new version of the Young Bucks. I'm not sure where they're going, but I like this whole thing that Tony Khan's doing. I believe I saw he purchased Impact Wrestling, so that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. So the last thing I want to touch about it, this kind of don't have nothing to do with the show of AEW, but it has to do with AEW. So now I've been watching WWE Raw for years, and I've been watching AEW since it debuted in October of 19. And I've noticed some of the differences, so we can put that away now. Some of the differences we got was, one of the things I like is that they have a time limit on their match. Like if the match goes past 20 minutes, it's considered a draw. Most matches are 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and 60 minutes. 60 minutes, that's obviously going to be for like a main event or something. But nevertheless, to me, that's one of the big things. And then that ties into the draw, because they have, in their company, they do wins and losses count. So just like I was saying that MJF and Jericho are the number 5 tag team, that means something, because, you know what I'm saying, not Marcus Stone, but Jurassic Express are the number 2 tag team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just cool to see how the rankings mean something. Winning and losses mean something, you know. It keeps things fair, keeps things balanced, you know. It's not like you just, hey, you know, give me a title shot. I deserve a title shot because my name is Pete Dunne. You know, I've been around this company. I've done the same thing as you, Finn Balor. You know what I'm saying? It's not stuff like that. Oh, who's next? NXT is not watching me. I'm watching NXT. You know, that's Finn Balor, man. I'm just like, so AEW, that's a bit difference there. And then another bit difference, and I think this is what keeps AEW fresh. Well, obviously, Raw is a 3-hour show, so it's harder to put out people. See, so AEW was a 2-hour show, but what AEW was able to do, they made AEW dark, which was smart, you know, and they're going to social media. See, that's just showing the difference between it being run by a younger guy, being run by a guy that's 81 years old. But anyway, we ain't worry about that. Them having less pay-per-views, in my opinion, is good because you keep the storylines fresh, you know, like the shit ain't thrown together. Like, for example, Royal Rumble coming up Sunday. I'm gonna be doing a podcast on that, by the way. It'll probably, more than likely it's gonna be sometime Monday because I have to work Sunday night, but I get off at 11:30, come home and watch it. I probably ain't gonna have no energy. So once I get up before work, I'm gonna try my best to do it. If not, I'll do it Monday night. Once yeah, I do it Monday. I do it Monday for sure. But nevertheless, Goldberg and fucking Drew McIntyre, that shit was just fucking thrown together, man. It, you know, it's so fucking stupid. Like, it, it made no sense at all. One thing I did forget to address too, I forgot to address this. Taz's promo with his son and Starks, it made no fucking sense, man. And Will Hobbs as his name, it made no fucking sense at all. Anyway, that was random. But yeah, man, it's just like Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre makes no sense. At least with AEW bringing in Sting, I admit I ain't happy about seeing Sting, especially because Sting signed a contract. He's gonna be here every week or every other week. At least he could be using storylines to build up people. You know what I'm saying? And Darby Allin, why not start with Darby Allin? I mean, the dude's already crazy. He paints half of his face. He rides up to the ring in a fucking skateboard. He's a good wrestler. He's weird as fuck. It made sense. But nevertheless, that's another difference too. Like, I was kind of upset how people was like, with WWE, they'll bring in Goldberg or bring in somebody and then they'll bury the competition. And then AEW brings another old guy and it's fine. But then somebody on Facebook helped me realize, oh, well, there's a difference, you know. They're using them different. And that really helped to open my eyes. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, I almost forgot about that one. So, the less pay-per-views, I think it's better because it keeps the product more fresh. You get time to develop the storylines, you know. Like, for example, Lance Archer, I didn't want to get into this, but it ties into it. So Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston. This is a perfect example. I was listening to the commentators talk, and their whole rivalry started back at the Casino Battle Royale when it was the Casino Battle Royale when Lance Archer eliminated Eddie Kingston, and that was like 8-9 months later down the road. Now they're still in a rivalry. See how they just slowly built things and it's taking off. And since I started talking about it, Kingston, I guess he said that Archer couldn't win without Jake the Snake, so they sent Jake the Snake to the back. Archer was dominating the match. He had a chance to win the match, but you know he played around. He's kind of uncontrollable without Jake the Snake being there, and it came back to bite him in the butt because they brought Jake the Snake out to the ring, and then he lost the match. But the idea of them having shorter pay-per-views, in my opinion, is awesome. Oh, I forgot about that one too. And then another thing I noticed, they bring wrestlers from other companies to give them a chance. Like when Cody was the TNT champion, they was bringing guys to take him on and stuff, and like they did the same thing with Sheeta, and then that other girl, Thunder Rosa, she was one of the girls, and Serena Deeb, and I just think it's awesome that they integrate other companies in there like that. WWE never did something like that. Now, one of the bad things that they did do that's kind of like WWE was, and even WCW did it, Eric Bischoff pointed this out. Like, we've already seen Snoop Dogg come in the company. We already know he's a wrestling fan. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. He's Sasha Banks' cousin. We already seen that. We already seen Shaq. We know Shaq loves wrestling. You know, we've already seen Iron Mike Tyson in WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone. We don't want to see them guys. So that was a good point right there. And the last thing I wanted to touch was one of the biggest differences. In WWE, you got 5 seconds to get out that ring. In AEW, you got 10 seconds. That makes a big difference, man. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all podcast. Sorry if I talk too fast. I'm a little jacked. Just for the energy, for the life. Y'all stay tuned. I'll be back for the Royal Rumble. I can't wait.